to the scenic flight. And you'll see here that we're adding to that with, oh, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Just south of there is Rawnsley Park Station, which some of you may know already. That's an outback station which has turned itself into a premium tourism resort, though it has a caravan park for and basic cabins too, with 8 eco-villas, which just address the landscape brilliantly. They run also an increasing range of tours and dining and so forth around the property. Sunset on the Chase, you can see the Chase range off to the right there. Take you up at sunset, champagne, nibbles, and look over a great vista. So Rawnsley Park has also taken on Arcapina Station, which is actually an outback homestead just across the way from it, which the family used to own, and it's now turned into a premium family kind of style, 2-bedroom stopover. And here for me is what I'm really excited about. We tried this last year with a small operator who decided not to continue, but we've now got one of Alice Springs, the Alice Springs major balloon operator, coming down to work from April to November, depending on the weather at the end of the season, on ballooning at Rawnsley Park. You're looking at Wilpena Pound in the background there, and this is, I think, one of the great experiences, a slow drift up above one of the great landscapes. The critical reaction last year was fantastic. Best times of the year, by the way, for the Flinders Ranges, this kind of thing is, and for most things, is autumn, Australian autumn. There's March to early June, calm, balmy, not too much wind, and winter's okay too. Spring can be a bit volatile, that's why you're never sure around November what the weather's going to be like. The Prairie Hotel, just across the range from Wilpena, well known, mainly famous for its gourmet feral food, emu, kangaroo, pâtés and things like that. Fantastic kind of style to the accommodation, to the hosting there. Jane Fargo, the publican, just creates a buzz. It's got character. And Arkaba Station finishes it off. I guess the advice I've had from colleagues in international and so forth will be that the Flinders Ranges in the last 3 years has come up to a whole new level, with Wilpena refurbished, Rawnsley Park expanding its offerings, and Arkaba taken over by the Wild Bush Luxury resort chain, based on Southern African kind of guiding approaches, safari-style luxury standards. Fantastic accommodation. You're talking about $1,000 a day, $800,000 a day for staying there, fully hosted, and their walks, which probably may be too much, 4 days, 3 nights for your customers, would be, I think, the thing I would most like to do in the Flinders Ranges next, if I were me. Thanks, Matt. And once again, we've got Arkaroola Wildlife Sanctuary at the very top of the Flinders Ranges with that scene again of the Ridgetop Tour. There's a whole lot of station homesteads across the Flinders, particularly around the town of Blinman just north of Wilpena. Angarichna Station is one of them. That's quite upmarket. That already deals with the North American market. Ian Fargo will pick up his guests in Adelaide and fly them in his private plane up there. When I was there once, he just said, "Oh, sorry," got up from morning tea, walked out to his plane, jumped in it, went and mustered some sheep, came back and joined us for morning tea 25 minutes later. It's a quite extraordinary experience going there. And North Bundalia is another version of that further south. The North Star Hotel at Melrose is a sister to the, in the south, to the Prairie Hotel. That area is becoming a cycling tourism mecca with great connections to Fruta, Colorado, and the over-the-edge bike chain. And we come now to the Outback, which is more hard to access. I think the Flinders, there's plenty of options for 1 to 4 days for your guests. The Outback's obviously further, and I'm just focusing on Coober Pedy in this presentation. Most of you probably know it. Town of about 3,000 to 4,000 people, quite lurid, scene of Mad Max and other movies over the years. Quite a bizarre landscape. And by the way, my favourite there, the coat of arms pizza at John's Pizza. That's my personal recommendation to you. The coat of arms of Australia is an emu and a kangaroo, and that's what you're eating on the pizza at John's Pizza. And
my pizza.
You like pizza? Yeah, good pizza. It's the kind of things you can do there. Lake Eyre, having lived in Canada, I always find it amazing that we would ever even try to sell to North Americans the idea that, hey, there's water in a lake. but Australians love the idea that Lake Eyre, the vast inland lake in the middle of, as big as Belgium, in the middle of our area, has had water in it for the last 2 years, heading for a third, probably a fourth year, and this has just got Australians buzzing. I'm not trying to sell it to North Americans, but it is actually, there are some excellent flights out of Coopiti across Lake Eyre and the painted hills and painted desert areas of that area. It's quite a lunar landscape in places. What you're looking at the bottom there is the breakaways, which are just out of town, about 20 kilometres, and evening tours there are well worth doing. I mentioned the Outback Mail Run there. I'm looking at things for your people to do, and we'll come in a moment to access to Coopiti because you have to work around that. The Outback Mail Run gives you a day run in a troopy, a large four-wheel drive vehicle, literally with the mailman, to Oodnadatta and William Creek on the Oodnadatta track, via Creek Station, the dog fence, the longest human structure in the world, the 5,000-kilometre long dog fence to keep dingoes, the wild dogs, north in the inland, away from the sheep in the south. And you're looking at the Outback Golf Course there, which is quite rugged and apparently has sister city relations with St Andrews in Scotland, which is obviously a joke on St Andrews' part. And getting there, you can fly from Adelaide. Basically, it's sort of 10:20 to 12:20 daily. You tend to get there, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. You can package from Wilpena Pound Resort. Arkaroola Resort also will get you across there. Certainly during the Lake Eyre boom, it's running flights across there regularly. Drive it. It's 10 hours drive from Adelaide, and train. Keep going there, Matt. The train. The train's really, I worked on the GAN as a schoolboy, believe it or not. Wonderful journey, fantastic experience, and you get a really amazing outback experience. You get let off at a station 47 kilometres from Coopiti at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, believe it or not, I'm told that this is actually quite an amazing experience, one of those things that people remember because it's just so surreal. You're driven into Coopiti, there's a cave hotel. You have to organise transfers in advance. You leave, it leaves Mangaree going out to Adelaide, going south the other way. But you really are stuck with a stopover minimum the way it works for 3 days in Coopiti if you just want to do all train. And I'll talk to Rob Corr of the Desert Cave. It's not easy to find a priced package which gives you get off on the train and then fly out one way. It works probably best coming down from Darwin, get off and do time in Coopiti and then fly south to Adelaide by Rex. But and I think probably it's well worth. You can do a good 2.5 days in Coopiti if the last half day might be a bit on the quiet side. So I'm being honest there. But the kind of package you can do is a down and dirty tour around the town, painted desert tours, which are virtually a day, amazing landscape, Badlands really, it's our Badlands, and the Desert Town Cave Tour, which just takes you around the town for a day. But I think the mail run, if your visitors do plan to stay there for 3 days, they must do the Outback Mail Run, must not miss. Regional Express, fly most days, not every day, 10:20 to 12:20, and the fly back 12:40 to 2:40. So that's it gives you basically a half day if you're up there. You can't, not easy to get a full day if you're going in by plane. I've talked about the tour packages already, the mail run. The Old Timers Mine runs mine tours and does a Coopiti golf course and Opal Adventure, which is full day and fairly flexible. The Desert Cave Hotel is the premium hotel. I was just saying that the state government has kindly increased its power bills by about 200%, but I don't know what effect that will have on pricing in time, but it's really very well done. It's a wonderful experience to stay underground in these places. It's remarkably stable temperature, and they give you plenty to do with the Umina mine and other places to look at.